wealth or integrity. In a quiet village nestled within eastern Nigeria, there lived a young man named Jude. Known for his charming smile and smooth way with words, Jude had a dream that consumed him, a life beyond his humble means. Every day, Jude would watch his peers drive by in flashy cars, living in houses with glistening windows, a stark contrast to his modest upbringing. The yearning for that life grew each day, but poverty held him tightly in its grip. One day, while strolling through the bustling village market, Jude overheard a conversation that captured his attention. Two elderly women were gossiping about a woman of immense wealth, Lady Ifeoma. Despite her age, which Jude guessed placed her closer to his mother's generation, Ifeoma was said to be looking for a husband. But not just any man, Lady Ifeoma wanted a young, strong, handsome man by her side. This was no ordinary rumor, it spread through the village as fast as wildfire, and Jude's mind began to race. Lady Ifeoma owned sprawling lands and businesses, including the largest cassava and yam farms in the area. She was admired, feared, and even envied for her wealth, but she had no family to inherit her fortune. Jude saw his chance. If he married Lady Ifeoma, all her wealth would someday be his. When Jude shared his thoughts with his best friend, Obi, he was met with laughter. "You marry Lady Ifeoma?" Obi teased, shaking his head. "Jude, you're desperate, but that's low, even for you." Jude only shrugged off Obi's taunts. "This could be my one shot to escape this life, Obi," he replied, his voice filled with determination. The next day, Jude put on his best clothes and made his way to Lady Ifeoma's grand mansion. As he stood before the towering wooden door, his heart hammered in his chest. He knocked, and soon, the door creaked open. There she was, Lady Ifeoma, clad in fine lace, her silver hair wrapped elegantly, her eyes sparkling with intrigue. "What brings a young man like you to my home?" she asked, her voice poised and commanding. Taking a deep breath, Jude steadied himself. "Lady Ifeoma, I've heard about your wealth and your search for a husband," he said boldly. "I believe I am the man you're looking for." Lady Ifeoma laughed softly, her eyes narrowing. "A man like you, proposing to a woman like me. Tell me, Jude, why would you want an old woman for a wife?" Jude was caught off guard. He expected her to be flattered, perhaps even eager, but she was calm, almost calculating. He offered her his most charming smile and replied, "It isn't just your wealth that attracts me. I see a wise, powerful woman who could teach me many things. Together, we could build something even greater." Lady Ifeoma studied him carefully, her smile fading into a look of consideration. "Very well, Jude. I consider your offer, but you have to prove yourself. Marrying me won't be as easy as you think." Jude's heart leapt with excitement. He'd passed the first hurdle. But what he didn't know was that Lady Ifeoma's challenge would test more than his charm. It would push him to confront the depth of his values, his strength, and ultimately, the kind of man he truly was. And so Jude embarked on a journey filled with trials and discoveries, each step bringing him closer to the life he thought he wanted, but at a cost that only time would reveal. The next morning, Jude returned to Lady Ifeoma's mansion, his heart racing with anticipation. He was greeted by Mama Uju, the elderly housekeeper, with eyes as sharp as her tongue. "Madam is expecting you," she said, eyeing him with suspicion as she led him through the mansion's grand hallways. Jude was taken to the lush garden, where Lady Ifeoma sat amidst blooming flowers, sipping tea. She greeted him with a nod but wasted no time on small talk. "Jude," she began, her voice firm, "if you want to be by my side, you must show me you are not just words but action. Your first task is simple but important. I want you to deliver this basket of food to my workers at the farm." Jude blinked, surprised. He'd expected something grand or ceremonial, not a mere errand. But he held his tongue and nodded. "Of course, madam," he replied, lifting the large woven basket with ease. The farm was located on the village's outskirts, and Jude walked under the unforgiving midday sun, growing tired as he neared his destination. When he arrived, he was stunned by the sheer size of the land. Rows of crops stretched out endlessly, with workers toiling under the sun, their clothes drenched with sweat. The foreman, Papa Obayoma, an elderly man with a rough exterior, glanced up when he saw Jude approaching. "You must be the young suitor," Papa Obioma muttered, his tone a mixture of amusement and skepticism. "So, Lady Afioma sent you to do her bidding?" Jude handed him the basket, his pride stinging. "Madam asked me to bring this for the workers," he replied, trying to keep his voice steady. Papa Obioma snorted but accepted the basket. "Humph. She's testing you, you know. Carrying food is just the start. The real work lies out there," he said, gesturing to a group of workers frantically trying to fix a broken irrigation pipe. Jude looked over, realizing that without water, the crops would soon wither. He didn't need to be told twice. He rolled up his sleeves and joined the workers, digging through the hardened soil to reach the pipe. Hours passed as they worked under the brutal sun, his hands blistering and his body aching, but Jude didn't stop until the irrigation system was fixed. When they finished, Papa Obioma clapped him on the shoulder. "Maybe you're not here just for the money after all," he said with a hint of approval. Exhausted but proud, Jude returned to Lady Afioma's mansion that evening, covered in dirt and sweat. Lady Afioma was waiting for him in the sitting room, her gaze as piercing as ever. "You did well, Jude," she said, nodding with approval. "But know this, that was only the beginning. If you truly wish to stay by my side, you'll face far more than physical tasks." That night, Jude lay in bed, his mind racing. The promise of wealth and a life of luxury seemed close, but the path Lady Afioma had set before him was lined with trials he hadn't anticipated. Yet he couldn't turn back now. The following day, Jude awoke to a new challenge. This time, Mama Uju met him at the door with a serious look. "Madam wants you to collect payments from our debtors in the market," she instructed, handing him a list and a leather pouch. "Be warned, some may not give up their money easily. Use your charm, but don't be foolish." Jude felt a chill of unease but accepted the task. The market was buzzing with life as vendors sold fruits, spices, and fabrics, each stall filled with customers haggling over prices. Jude approached the first name on the list, Alhaji Musa, a stout man with a booming laugh who ran a fabric store. "Good afternoon, Alhaji," Jude greeted him politely. "Lady Afioma sent me to collect what you owe." Alhaji Musa's face darkened at the mention of her name. "That woman never lets anyone rest," he grumbled. But, after some grumbling, he handed Jude a small bag of coins. "Take it and tell her she'll see nothing more from me." Jude moved on to the next debtor, a spice vendor named Ayasod. When he approached her, mentioning Lady Afioma's name, she glared at him with crossed arms. "Tell Lady Afioma she'll get nothing from me," she snapped. "Business has been slow, and I have nothing to spare." Jude felt tension rising but kept calm. "Perhaps you could give what you can now, and we can arrange the rest later," he suggested, his voice even. But Ayasod was stubborn. "Not 1 naira until my business picks up." Jude sighed, realizing that Lady Afioma was testing more than his patience. She was testing his skills in negotiation. He left empty-handed but resolved to explain the situation honestly when he returned. By the end of the day, he had collected most of the debts. When he returned to Lady Afioma's mansion, he found her waiting in the grand hall, examining the coins he had brought. She raised an eyebrow, noting the missing amounts. "Not all of it, I see," she remarked, her tone calm. Jude nodded, bracing himself. "Some are struggling, madam. I assured them you would understand and that they could repay in time." Lady Afioma's gaze was unreadable, but she gave a slight nod. "Very well, Jude. You have passed another test. But remember, a life of wealth is not achieved through kindness alone. There will be times when you must be strong, even ruthless." As Jude left the mansion, he felt a chill. Lady Afioma's words lingered in his mind, a warning of the moral compromises that awaited him. Days passed, and each morning brought a new test. Jude felt as if he were peeling away layers of himself inch by inch to meet Lady Afioma's demands. Then, one morning, he was summoned not to the garden or the market, but to Lady Afioma's private study. Mama Uju met him at the door, her expression tense. "Madam will explain, but tread carefully today," Jude. When he entered, Lady Ifeoma was poring over ledgers and documents, her sharp gaze drifting over the estate she controlled. She looked up as he entered, gesturing for him to sit. Jude, she began, her tone softer than usual, today's task is one of loyalty. There is a plot of land belonging to a widow, Momonkechi. She's behind on her payments, and I need you to collect. If she cannot pay, I will have no choice but to claim the land. Jude's heart sank. He knew of Momonkechi, a widow with young children, struggling to make ends meet. Taking away her land would strip her of the little she had left. But Lady Ifeoma's gaze was unwavering. This is part of your test, Jude, she said, her voice icy. Handle this as a decision maker. Show me that you understand loyalty to me is more important than sympathy. Jude left the mansion in turmoil. As he approached Momonkechi's modest home, he found her tending to a small garden, her young children playing nearby. She greeted him warmly, unaware of the burden he carried. Momonkechi, Jude began, struggling to find the right words. Lady Ifeoma sent me about the land. Momonkechi's face fell. She lowered her gaze, her hands trembling. Please, Jude, she whispered. I am doing all I can. If I had more time. Jude wrestled with his conscience. He knew what Lady Ifeoma expected, but seeing Momonkechi's pain was too much to bear. Finally, he nodded. I will speak to her on your behalf. Perhaps she will grant an extension. When Jude returned to Lady Ifeoma that evening, he braced himself. She studied his face as he explained his decision, her eyes narrowing with each word. You disobeyed me, she said, her voice low. Jude's hands shook, but he held his ground. I made a choice, madam. You asked me to think like a man who could stand by your side. I believe in loyalty, but I also believe in compassion. For a long moment, Lady Ifeoma said nothing. Then, to his surprise, a faint smile touched her lips. You have courage, Jude. And perhaps there's wisdom in your heart, she said softly. I will grant the extension. But remember, loyalty to me comes first. As Jude left, a strange peace settled within him. He knew he was on a dangerous path, but for the first time, he felt he'd made the right choice, not for wealth, but for himself. Yet, he sensed that the final test lay just ahead, and he would have to choose once and for all what kind of man he truly wanted to be. The following morning, Jude felt the weight of Lady Ifeoma's test pressing on him more than ever. The life of wealth and luxury he had imagined seemed further away, entangled in the web of challenges she laid before him. Yet, each test pushed him closer to understanding himself and his limits. When he arrived at Lady Ifeoma's mansion, Mama Uju met him with a warning look. Today will be your greatest trial yet, young man. Madam is waiting for you in the main hall. Jude felt his pulse quicken as he entered the grand hall. Lady Ifeoma stood beside a large table, a small wooden box placed before her. She motioned for him to approach, her gaze piercing as always. Jude, she began, her tone steady yet serious. You've shown strength, loyalty, and resilience. But today's test is the most significant. It will determine if you're truly prepared to share in the world of wealth and power. Jude felt a chill. He had passed her previous challenges, but the intensity in her eyes made him realize that this final test would be unlike any other. Lady Ifeoma gestured to the box on the table. Inside is a document. A contract. It's an agreement with one of my close business partners, Chief Okeke. Recently, I discovered he's been dishonest, siphoning money from our ventures. By signing this document, you'll ensure he is exposed and ruined, but you'll also secure a fortune for yourself and prove your loyalty to me beyond a doubt. Jude's hands began to shake. The contract would destroy Chief Okeke's reputation and potentially his entire life. This wasn't just a business decision, it was a sentence. Was he willing to crush someone else for his own gain? Lady Ifeoma's gaze remained steady. If you sign this, Jude, your place by my side will be assured. Wealth, comfort, influence, all yours. But know this, signing it means you've chosen this path fully. There is no turning back. Jude's mind whirled with conflicting thoughts. He had worked so hard to reach this point, passing every test and pushing himself beyond his limits. The life he wanted lay before him, just within his reach. But was he truly ready to ruin another man's life for it? After a long silence, he spoke, his voice steady but filled with emotion. Lady Afioma, I've learned much from you about power, wealth, and control. But I've also learned that there are things more valuable than money, like integrity. I can't sign this contract. If I have to lose everything to keep my conscience, then so be it. For a tense moment, Lady Afioma remained silent, her expression unreadable. Then, to his astonishment, she smiled, a slow, approving smile that reached her eyes. You've made the right choice, she said softly. This was the final test, Jude. I needed to know if you'd sacrifice your soul for wealth, as so many others would. But you chose integrity over riches. Jude was speechless, unsure of what to make of her reaction. Lady Afioma continued, her tone warmer than he'd ever had before. Your journey with me has come to an end, but you have succeeded in ways that go beyond wealth. You've shown me that you're a man of character. I have no riches to offer you, Jude, but I leave you with something far more precious, your dignity. As Jude left her mansion for the last time, he felt a profound sense of peace. He knew the journey ahead would not be easy, but he was ready to carve his own path, one built on integrity and self-respect. In the days that followed, Jude's story spread throughout the village. Some admired his courage, while others questioned his decision to walk away from wealth. But Jude knew that he had made the choice that was right for him. The pursuit of wealth and power, he realized, could strip a person of their values if they weren't careful. His experience with Lady Afioma taught him that true strength lies in staying true to oneself, even when the stakes are high. Moral of the story. Wealth and power can be sweet, but they often come at the cost of one's values. Jude's journey teaches us that integrity and self-respect are worth more than any riches. True strength is found in standing by what you believe in, even when temptation calls.
I hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, comment, share it with your family and friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this one. Goodbye.